Today, we wrap up our International Eeks Triple Feature with Lucio Fulci's harrowing hellscape into the horrors of hotel management. The acid is splashing, the spiders are snacking, and we can't help but call out a handful of unholy building code violations as we check in at the Seven Doors Hotel to meet the very essence of hell itself in the Beyond.
You're listening to How I Met Your Monster, a podcast that explores the introductions to your favorite movie monsters. My name's Zach.
I'm Danny.
And I'm Casey.
And together we dive into the world of horror to find out how filmmakers have introduced us to our favorite monsters time and time again. This is How I Met Your Monster. Welcome to How I Met Your Monster, the show where we discuss the introductions to your favorite movie monsters. Today we're wrapping up our International Eeks Triple Feature. Ironically enough, wrapping up in the United States.
In New Orleans.
In New Orleans.
We thought we were going to Italy. The plane took us back to the States.
Yeah. It's like, nope. What's that? In Last Crusade, he's like, we're turning around. They're taking us back to Germany. Anyways, this isn't an Indiana Jones podcast. Casey's already getting irritated.
As much as Zach wants it to be.
As much as I want it to be. No, we're talking about The Beyond today from Lucio Fulci. And we have a very special guest with us today. We have author Eric Miller. Welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Doing really well. Thanks for having me on. And first and foremost, I like to say I'm a horror fan. I'm not an academic or, I don't sound like I'm some kind of a expert or something, but I love horror movies just as a fan. Work on them a lot, write a lot of stories and stuff. But that's where my whole viewpoint comes from.
And you're no stranger to horror movies. You said you're a horror fan, and you've also written quite a few screenplays that were produced into features. Is that correct?
Yeah, 5 or 6. There's more out there that I did rewrites on that I don't put my name on. Partially because some of them are just awful, but partially also because I deeply respect the people who wrote the initial draft. And that's kind of a Hollywood thing that, some poor schmo like me writes for years and years and years, and then you finally sell something and get your 50 cents. And then the next thing you know, the movie comes up and there's 16 different writers' names credit. And you're like, wait a minute, they didn't do anything. So I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of that. And I think the rules are technically you're supposed to change 50% or more to get a credit. But so I've done a few rewrites and just punch up things here and there. But yes. And I also was hired to write a few things. Dog Soldiers 2 was one of the biggest things that I wrote never got made. Giant fan of the first movie. And a werewolf script that I wrote had been optioned. So they actually wanted to make that. The story was, I think they wanted to make that Dog Soldiers 2, but somebody else had the rights to it at the time. So they hired me to write a story that the producer came up with. And I did my best, and it was a lot of fun. And again, I don't know if it would ever be as good as the original because it's just such a great film and from the beginning.
Sure.
So I'm a huge fan, but proud to have been part of that. And hey, I hope it gets made someday because there's a paycheck involved. So that's always nice.
Well, there's always like a heavy expectation for sequels to be better or at least as good, but sometimes a good sequel just fits into the DNA of the first one so well, and it gives horror fans like us the chance to binge, to do the marathons and all that. So I love a good sequel. So.
Yeah, and that's what we tried to do. And sometimes, obviously, I think probably the biggest example of that is Aliens, where Cameron took the idea and the setting and vaulted what was really the haunted house movie in space and the monster movie in space, and made it an action film, but it's still terrifing in its own way.
Yeah.
And stayed so true to the original, but then took it in a different direction. And guys, actually, I think he's going to go places.
There's a chance. Let's hold out some hope for him.
Watch that name. He might be in the theaters somewhere soon.
Yeah. And you got a new book out, Whatever Happened to Uncle Ed. Can you tell us a little bit about your new book? So
my book, Whatever Happened to Uncle Ed, just probably influenced a lot by The Beyond. There's a lot about a door in a basement that goes somewhere evil and different. So the book has a lot of different homages and nods to many movie films and books and things that influenced me over the years and houses that I lived in. So it's basically the story of a former high school basketball star that we pick up his story later in life lives in a creepy mansion at the edge of town, and people talk about him strangely. And he comes into work beat up and bruised, and there's this unfolding mystery of not only what's going on in this house every weekend, and also what's his backstory. And it slowly unpeels the story of him, the strange people living with him, and this whole story unfolds and eventually answers the question, whatever happened to Uncle Ed? Hence the title.
Nice.
Oh, that sounds incredible.
That sounds great.
You mentioned that it took inspiration from places you've lived in too. Have you lived in places that you consider to be haunted?
Yeah, I'm a skeptic, but skeptics want proof. But having said that, there were two houses in particular that a lot of really weird things happened in, both in Indiana, where I grew up and mostly grew up, and one in particular, my brother and I stayed in the basement in a house in Upland, Indiana, which I still drive by and look at the outside of every now and then when I'm back there and go, what really happened? What do you remember? But years later, nobody really ever, I don't recall mentioning at the time because we were young kids, but years later at dinner, mom, dad, and my brother, somehow the conversation came up and everyone looked at each other and went, oh, something happened to you there too? And some of the stories came out. And so again, I'm a skeptic. There's so many explanations for what could really be happening. But the second house, which was in my high school hometown of Seymour, Indiana, a nice old American four-square, probably built in 1890 or something. And I just remember reading a book one night, late at night, probably a horror novel on my bed with my cat. I don't know, I'm probably 18, 19, whatever, high school age. And I hear some steps come up the creaky staircase and walk down the hallway to my closed door. And I'm thinking, oh, mom or dad must be coming up to say something. And nobody knocks, nothing happens. And I look down and my cat is hair standing up, and then my hair standing up, which is impressive. And I went to the door and there was nobody there, and they would have had to have creaked away. So old house settling, all that, those kind of things. I love old architecture, love old houses. Have worked in the movie industry, and I've been in many, many places where, all the ghost hunting shows have been and all that. And I've never encountered anything in an exact literal, hey, this is a haunted house, allegedly. But I've been around a lot of strange places, and the imagination goes crazy. And that's what I really think it is at the end of the day. And hey, you never know when one of the 7 doors to hell might be in the basement of your apartment building. So be careful when you're doing the laundry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. Awesome. Well, we're so excited to have you here. We're talking about the Beyond today, as we mentioned before. And before we get into this, if you're not following the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, even YouTube, go ahead and follow the show so that you never miss cool monsters like this and our fun triple features that we do every 3 episodes. Today's the Beyond. This was part of, I think it was just like a loosely based trilogy. The Gates of Hell trilogy.
They say it's a trilogy. Some people are like, oh, okay.
Sure. Which, you get into talking about these Italian horror movies, and one of the things that you hear a lot is that a lot of them are style over substance. And I can see that in some of these. I have yet to see City of the Living Dead and House by the Cemetery, which are the book-ending movies in this quote-unquote Gates of Hell trilogy. But the Beyond, it looks really great. It's got awesome effects. It's got a great score. It's got the cinematography is really cool. Some of the pieces I would say might not kind of click together. But
I'd say.
But it feels like it's like intentionally cryptic and abstract, to kind of feed into that idea of like hell maybe makes no sense. So how do we as mere mortals understand it?
Yeah,
that's my read. That's how I kind of like.
Yeah, and it gets into the style of filmmaking and the time of the filmmaking, and what you said about some of the style over substance. I won't name the particular movie that's the most famous of all of the Italian horror movies, but I'm not a fan. It's like people.
I think I know what you're talking about.
And there's amazing imagery, and that's great. But what do you really remember about it? Because I'm a story guy and a character guy. I think that's why Beyond really I'm attracted to it so much. much. There seems to be more of a story in it. And you get into that whole thing about surrealism, or existentialism, surrealism, and whether it's a choice or, you hang it on that later because the movie didn't work. So let's say it was surrealistic because we didn't have enough footage or the editing was off. But it actually reminds me of one of my favorite films, Della Morte, Cemetery Man, which is, if you've seen that, watch it. It's
crazy.
It's amazing, and it's intentionally, when you get to the last scene, no spoilers here, but if you know what I'm talking about, when you see the last scene, it's literally existential. It's like this is taking place in it's not taking place in hell, it's taking place in like, oh wow, that's completely different. But I think the Beyond I think it was intended, from my reading, it was tended to be kind of surrealistic, and again, whether that's a excuse because some of the editing, like you watching through it, and some of the stuff just doesn't make sense. You're like one of my favorite things early on is whatever the first thing happens, and get a doctor. Well, don't they have an ambulance? But then suddenly a doctor pulls up in a station wagon. Okay, is that rural Louisiana? Is that 1980? You can make excuses, but then a few scenes later, all these terrible things happen at the house, and we're expecting kind of the Western, the American horror filmmaking. You have the police scene and the ambulance taking the bodies away. Oh no, none of that. Probably budgetary and time wise, but suddenly all the bodies are in the morgue. And we're just in the morgue.
Right. The plumber dies and she goes out for errands. And then all of a sudden, is it days later that I was like, what?
Yeah.
You're like, well,
you the John guy, John, how does she meet him does she meet him because they're stopped next to each other at a stoplight?
Wait, no, Dr. John? Is that what you're asking?
He comes to the house to fix the guy who fell off the scaffolding.
Who fell? Okay, so then they see each other in the car.
That's where
later.
That's the thing about the surrealism. It's like at the end. Spoiler alert, by the way. Hopefully, listeners, you've seen this. I'm guessing you have. Even if you did, I don't think we could.
The listeners don't listen to them. Don't watch the movies all the time.
Come on, people, we just watch these movies.
No, but surreal is at the end when they go down the stairs in the morgue and they end up in the cellar. Got it. Like clearly that was a planned surrealistic experience. But then, to your point, Eric, like with these little, is it a plot hole? That should be a segment on our show if we do a Fulci movie. It's like plot hole or surrealism, and then we'll just do it.
I'm sure that's popped up in CinemaSins nonstop because they're all over that. That's its own podcast right there.
You mentioned that scene. You mentioned the scene where the guy falls off the scaffolding and the doctor comes over in his station wagon, and I had to laugh when he comes in and the guy's like on the couch just like spitting up blood everywhere, and he's like, "This man needs to get to a hospital." Yeah, no shit.
No, but before that, he's examining and he says, "Get me some water." And she's like, "Well, the plumbing's not hooked up." Okay, then let's take him to a hospital. Like, okay, well, so water was going to staunch the bleeding.
Water was the first thing you did.
He's kind of like House, that basically accidentally almost kills every patient every episode until they stumble on the brilliant whatever the cure is.
We just needed water.
We just needed water.
Have you guys all seen The Room?
With,
Tommy Wiseau.
You know, I've never actually sat down and watched it.
Okay.
I've just seen. I've just
this is very similar. The editing and the there's just so many weird parts. Like the guy when he's up on the scaffolding, they're like, "Hey, how's it going?" He's like, "Gonna have it finished by this evening." Okay, bye. Like, oh, okay. And then when he's laying on the couch and I can't remember his name. He comes in the room and he just is like, hey there. I don't know. It's just really weird.
Yeah. Well, I wonder, I kind of noticed it too later, but I wonder if it's like with the writing, this was written by Fulci. It was written by a guy named Giorgio Mariuzzo and Dardano Sacchetti. And, if I butchered those names, I do apologize. But, they're Italian writers. I wonder if there was like
there's a sign in the hospital that says "Do not entry."
Do not entry. Yeah. I wonder if there's like a lost in translation kind of thing where it's like,
I'm sure
trying to get how like Americans talk, and maybe it's different than it is in Italy, and
probably.
I wonder if some of that comes in, because later I noted there is two guys, two doctors. It's just like it's an exterior shot of the hospital. John is walking out, and there's two doctors, and they're like, "Do you want to go to the Saints game today?" And he's like, "Oh, who are they playing?" He's like, "The Bengals." And the guy goes, "Oh, the Bengals." And it's just like, American football, we got to put that in there. And so it was just an observation that I was like Americanisms or something that like they're trying to put in.
Well, it's I don't know. And then you have British, the two leads. She's British, he's New Zealand, and then you have an Italian director that doesn't speak English from a screenplay. And I just read this morning on the Wikipedia that the production manager, I guess, the local guy, said they didn't even have a script. They just had a 3-page treatment, which obviously the actors were reading dialogue. So there was a script somewhere, but he may not have seen it. And I don't. Again, I'm not a scholar. I don't know much enough about Fulci's style, but that could kind of be like almost like every American film of the last 15 years, which is basically a reality show. Let's all just go jump on set and get Spanky and Darla and make a horror movie in the barn and just film everything from 16 different cameras and edit it. So it seems that way. I know there's directors out there that actually use scripts and follow things. So. But
and I bet there was like a level of like overcompensating too, maybe because the movie we mentioned is set in New Orleans, but most of it was filmed, aside from some exteriors, were filmed in Rome. So I bet there was this idea of like, guys, let's make sure we don't kind of rest on our laurels here and remember like wherever we can Americanize this, do it. Yeah. Just in case.
And having worked in the last couple of years on Bones and All for Luca Guadagnino, his first American film and the horror film, I can say that there were definitely some translation, not errors, but miscommunications. But there were plenty of people around on both sides, the translator that spoke English, but you're not necessarily always getting the point across. It actually brings up a pet theory of mine too when you say this. May not be original with me, so sorry if I've stolen this from somebody else, but I've always said that why particularly Japanese horror films, but also Hong Kong, Chinese, other cultures making films, their edit points and their storytelling style are different than ours. And because American filmmaking has dominated everything for decades, and we all grew up, watching mostly American films, we get the points in our head. We know where it's at. You're anticipating. We know what the jump scares are. And it's so hard. Jump scares are kind of cheap, but when they're done right, holy crap, when people misdirect you, it's great. But when you're watching something from a different culture, you literally don't know where the edit point is. They're not. They're literally not speaking the same filmic language, and so when they like Ringu, the Japanese version is so much more frightening. You're on the edge of your seat. You just don't know when's it going to come. Same thing here. Like there's some great misdirections in this, but it's just a completely different style of filmmaking that you're not used to, and it's so subtle. I think that's in your subconscious as you're watching, and you're like, wait. What happened there? So, and also
that's such a good point. Yeah, and it's important to keep that in mind. But also, I feel like to that point, it is maybe not great to always have to keep it in mind if you don't expect that, because it's that like lack of expectation for the unexpected that makes it even more disorienting.
Right. And come on, let's face it, it's 1980. Filmmaking was completely different. And we've been, I laugh now, I'm old enough to have gone through when they talked about MTV editing and everybody's freaking out. There's a cut every 3 seconds. And you're like, you look back now and you're like, every 3 seconds? What are you talking about? People are, we're reading our phone screen, watching the TV and then talking to someone. Everybody's multitasking and there's a cut every and you what the hell? So it's a note I made about this, and I had actually forgotten that the films were much slower paced, and for a movie that is very deliberately slowly paced, holy shit, Fulci crams in so many gags and effects and moments and fake scares. It's just like, hey, and again,
in less than 90 minutes.
Yeah, in less than 90 minutes, and the pace is slow. Like the famous scene, I think I clocked it, and it's almost whichever version you're watching. The spoiler alert: the architect falls off of the ladder and gets paralyzed, and then a normal movie, that's enough. Oh, this horrible thing happened. You're paralyzed. Oh no, let's go to the next thing. Here come the spiders. And the spiders slowly approach, and the skittering sound, and this amazing use of the soundtrack and the effects. And there's a couple obvious fake-looking ones in there, but then they crawl up him, and then they start biting him, and then they're chewing on, and that's not enough. Now they've got to crawl on his mouth, and you're like 5 minutes on one scene of one guy with spiders, and there's more effects gags in that to make you climb up the wall, and that's that's one gag out of probably 40 or more gags. So
good.
Yeah, they were so cute.
Yeah, and they're so cute and fuzzy.
I do. I like Derangers.
I have to. He won't. I don't know if he'll watch this or not, but I have to give a shout out to my friend Tony, who's kind of spider phobe. And I watch movies and I joke with him a bit, but I know it's a real thing, and I'm not digging at him, but like, do not watch this movie, Tony.
Yeah,
there's one or two of us in here that really hate spiders.
Oh, yeah, I'm not a fan, believe me. But, believe me.
Yeah, no, the effects in this are just wild. And Giannetto De Rossi was the special effects guy who came up with a lot of these gags. And like, the movie starts off we'll get into it here in a second, but this flashback scene where this guy is just getting whipped with chains and his flesh just like splits open and all this.
And then they zoom in on it.
Yeah. Like these gags are so good. And, to your point about the spiders taking 5 minutes, like I wish like more American films would do that. But, you get the MPAA and all this stuff and they have to cut away. And you think about all these movies, in the 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s that had these awesome practical effects gags, but they're never seen because they have to cut right when the good stuff happens because of the MPAA. And I wish more movies you could see like the 5-minute spider scene where they're pulling the guy apart. And
I didn't ask. I wanted to ask Casey, because Casey, you haven't seen this before, right? And you are our gore queen of the podcast. Were you? Where does it stand in terms of your?
It was pretty good, but like the effects were good, but some of them were very not good.
Okay. Do you mean like because it was dated or?
Yeah. Just the things that I could see that, were not really.
I think that's what I loved about it. I think that's this movie, I think why I love it so much is it's the sweet spot. I struggle with like Terrifier.
I still liked it. I liked that when like there was blood, like there was blood. Like it literally was just pouring out of like, you know what I mean?
Blood, yeah.
Yeah. Like they didn't pussyfoot around. The blood was literally like pouring out of everything. So I did like that. Yeah.
That's very Italian, I think, and something that, from a kid watching these and rewatching them now, there's almost a documentary feel to Fulci in particular, but other Italian horror filmmakers that it feels more real. I think that's the film and the filming style, but the effects, believe me, I've been around a lot of special effects, and I always like to say that if I can't see the seams, if a movie, because I've been on so many sets, if a movie makes me forget that I'm watching a movie and I'm not looking for the edges or see how they did it, you did it very well. And there's some gags in this that I have to go do some research. I mean, of course, when one of the best gags ever, and I love that in this movie, and when Fulci just keeps going to the next level is whatever. Spoiler alert again, so many. When in the bathroom scene later on, when I think it's the Martha character is cleaning, and first she goes into the filthy black water and just puts your arms in it. Just so many bits of tension setting things up that you're already like, oh, gross. But then when zombie Joe the plumber magically appears and comes up and he's attacking her and he's grabbing her face and you're like, oh, you're waiting for it to go into her head. And then he spikes her head on the towel rack.
Oh, yeah.
That's enough for anybody. Oh, no, that's not enough. Then the eyeball pops out and then you're like, whoa. And then the blood comes out of the front of the eyeball. It just keeps, next level. So okay, good. That's obviously, that's an effect. It's not a real eyeball. Come on, we get it. Well done and fun. But there's other scenes in this, like you said, the whipping, the chains at the beginning. But there's a point where in that opening scene where they're driving the nails through his wrists. And I paused it, and that's the guy's arm, and that's his hand, and it's moving, and it's real. And again, maybe I was just tired when I'm watching it. Now, there's obviously a seam there. They're not, maybe they really did drive a nail. Maybe the guy was just one of those people that enjoys that. But they're like, okay, that's good. Well, you sold me.
Yeah,
I think they also used the lighting in that scene to draw the shadows to where his wrist and his hand met. So
yeah, exactly.
Well, what's funny,
and all the things.
You say that about this character specifically, that's Schweik, right? The character who gets crucified.
I could never get his name right. The warlock painter Schweik, yes.
So his character, not his character, rather, the actor, I'm trying to look for my note here, but I can't find it.
Is he a circus freak that does nailing? So that would...
Well, he apparently fled set a few times because he was so overwhelmed by the prosthetics that they had to keep putting him in. And just the experience, but they had to literally go. It was very dramatic. Like, it was very just he would literally try to disappear himself so that no one would find him, and they would have to go. Fulci would be like, "You have to find him, grab him." And and he would come back and he would do it.
No, this is the nailing scene. No, I don't want it.
So maybe it really, that's the last shot. That was his last day of filming.
Where's the human ASPCA? Like, no humans were harmed in the filming of
this movie. Invented it. It inspired it. Yeah. That's hilarious.
As we laugh about a guy getting crucified on the wall of a bathroom in an old hotel. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's jump into our reveals for The Beyond. Are you guys ready to head to Louisiana in our International Eeks Triple Feature?
I have a ticket to Rome. I don't. Where
Sorry,
am I going?
Oh no, you can go to Rome. You can film the interior scenes.
I'll do the interiors,
on the sound stages, and we'll go to the exteriors in Louisiana. So let's go to the what's this place called? There's a name for it. What's the name of the hotel?
The Seven Doors Hotel.
Yeah, right? Let's ignore the do not entry sign and go to the Seven Doors Hotel in Louisiana,
which is in no way connected to the Holiday Inn Express Corporation whatsoever. It's a completely independent.
We legally have to state that.
Yeah. Oh my God, wouldn't that be funny if they were like in there and it's like the zombies are popping up and he's like, "Do you know what you're doing?" And the doctor looks at Liza and he's like, "No, but I stayed in the Holiday Inn Express last night." Okay, so for The Beyond, we have 13 monster reveals, and we're talking about the gates of hell, and 13 is a fitting number for that. If you're new to the show, a monster reveal is any time that a monster in the movie is revealed to a character or to the audience. Us. We're the audience. That's us.
Yeah.
So, Danny, this was your choice for our International Eeks Triple Feature. Could you please read the synopsis of The Beyond?
Happily. A young woman inherits an old hotel in Louisiana where, following a series of supernatural accidents, she learns that the building was built over one of the entrances to hell.
Oh, okay.
I hate it when that happens.
One of our...
I hate it when that happens.
Yeah. And there's only 7, so damn, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, and this one actually had the U.S. version of The Beyond was released 2 years after. So it was made in 1981. It didn't come to the U.S. until 1983. And it was under the title Seven Doors of Death.
Oh, yeah. So
that's fun.
Okay.
I kind of like that title too.
Yeah,
I like
it's actually
Seven Doors of Death.
And, you know, speaking of the gates of hell, this hotel being built over one of the gates of hell, I didn't realize at first that Schweik in the beginning, you know, they call him like a warlock, and it's kind of like a Frankenstein's monster kind of thing where they're bringing the torch, literally bringing torches and pitchforks and coming in to get them. He was guarding the gates of hell. I didn't realize that at first. He was like protecting, trying to keep it closed.
Yeah. So this is why I was confused too, because there's a line later. They say something later, and again, it comes down to, I guess, maybe just like who this person is hearing this information from. And I'm sure we'll get to it. It's somewhere in my notes. And it mentions something specifically about, it's when Emily is with the painting. She mentions Schweik was the man who found the key. So I'm guessing like the key to the doorway to hell. Like, was the painting done to open the door? Yeah, was the painting done to close it?
They say that in the intro that he was guarding the gate, and I think that might be maybe a dropped storyline there, that famous missing script or whatever.
Okay.
So yeah, I was anticipating that when I first saw it and remembering it, like, oh, there's a story. He's actually not the bad guy. He's really the good guy. Mm-hmm. And no, he's not. He's a zombie trying to suck everybody to hell. A missed opportunity. And you bring up one of the other things that I like too. There's this weird, I'm a disembodied voiceover male, which I'm a fan of voiceovers. I think they're not yet, they get frowned upon in Hollywood a lot, but when they're used right, Dexter and other things, it really gives you insight. Mm-hmm. But it's really Emily kind of telling the story to Eliza, but suddenly this voiceover is in this male voice and it's just disconnected. And you're like, did the producer add that in? Did Fulci add that in to try and explain things? It's great dialogue. It's fun and it's mysterious and all that, but like it doesn't explain the story at all.
Is Hell mansplaining Emily? Is that what's happening here?
What a dick.
Is the devil a mansplainer?
That's funny.
She's like, so she like lays out the rules, then the narrator, and you just see her kind of like look up, like do like who's the character from The Office? She like looks at the camera, like
Jim. He's always like looking.
Don't they all look at
Jims
the camera?
I think so. Yeah. Okay, so our first official monster reveal comes in the form of who will later to be known as Emily, but she pops up in the window when the man on the scaffolding is painting, and you just see her eyes, which you find out she's blind, but I thought she was like a ghost, which I guess she is kind of a ghost. But
another thing that doesn't really make any sense.
It scares the shit out of him, and he falls off the scaffolding. And as we said earlier in the episode, he coughs up more than a little bit of blood and could use a glass of water. But I don't think he gets it.
When there's no water and they carry him instead of a gurney or something, literally the two guys just pull him up and carrying him like a wet rag. I'm like, what if he's got a spinal injury? Like,
just throw him in the back of the station wagon. He'll be good.
And take him to town.
But to your point about like Emily, like you thought she was a ghost, and then obviously we meet her later, and she is this, and then she mentions later she doesn't want to go back. So she's clearly she's more of like a presence in the movie, like a cautionary like person to say like she's kind of almost, I guess in a way, kind of taking over Schweik's responsibility of like guarding the door, but a little more like loosely because she doesn't have access to the painting. So yeah, I guess I'm kind of like in real time trying to figure out who she is. Maybe it's a fool's errand.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if all the story points kind of line up, because later in the towards the end, when she's being kind of like confronted by all these zombies, like in the living room or something, and she's yelling at them saying, "I did what you asked, like leave me alone." So that's kind of confusing, because was she like trying to summon them? I don't know.
It does posit the idea that you can escape hell, which is interesting. I feel like there's a prequel there about
you?
Exactly. Yeah. You can technically leave it, but you'll never quite escape it.
But what are the eyes? What are the eyes?
They're so awesome.
Yeah, awesome.
They are awesome. Yeah. I really like them, but I don't understand because because then they just start giving them to all kinds of people for no reason.
Well, so Fulci mentioned that, like, he said eyes are the windows to the soul.
To the soul. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. And but then
what does that have to do with Jill?
I think it's something to do with the idea of seeing hell and how it is so beyond like what the human mind can conceive. It literally blinds you. Like, it's so shocking that you have like a physical reaction to it. Your body can't contain it.
But
your eyes like can't behold it. That might be kind of a dumb
So
read,
what, like after we'll get into the Jill thing.
Oh, it's kind of like Pennywise and the deadlights.
The deadlights, yeah.
Where they see him and like his hair turns white. And he's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so beyond what we can, perceive or conceive.
Yeah, there's the I think the if there was a studio remake, the over explanation, and I'll admit I do that in some of my screenplays and stories, and don't give the audience enough credit to figure it out. I mean, is it anything from just, oh, that's a cool gag to signify it's a monster, or like what you're saying is maybe you're soulless. It's you, when you've fell and escaped, your soul is still down there and it's sucked out or something. I'm sure
I like that.
It works either way, and there's probably the real answer is it looked cool.
Right, because Jill, what did Jill didn't go to hell.
Well, no, but I mean, she got her eyes when she sees like the corpses and all the stuff in the morgue.
Later on in the movie, then Dick and Jane see all the fucking all the things in the hospital, and they don't get their eyes until they actually go to hell. So
that's true.
Maybe it says more about the person.
Well, and Jill perfectly. Everyone else, when they're a monster, they attack. But suddenly, Jill and Emily don't. Emily's a different character. She's actually interacting, and obviously, we see that she's trying to warn somebody for whatever reason, and without explaining what did she do. Run the errands. But the Jill, like, I'm going to hide that I'm a monster to build that tension for that entire chase scene, and then suddenly at the right dramatic moment, Jill attacks. Like, kind of like the dog too, but
right.
I talk about a lot that when you're writing, and you guys may know this, but and this does break it, is you make monster rules, and you internally, when you're creating something, you have to create the rules, and then you have to follow the rules, and sometimes you paint yourself into a corner because you've made the monster so powerful. Like a good example, Freddy Krueger. Don't fall asleep. When you fall asleep, and of course, there's more to that. You have to be one of the kids of the original assaulters of burners of Freddy Krueger. Yeah. But that's a simple monster rule. And if suddenly Freddy appears in the dining room, like in the middle of the day, and you instantly know that you've fallen asleep and you don't realize that he can't really be there during the day, unless that was in Nightmare on Elm Street 62. The Waking Dawn that I may have missed somehow, but you got to do those rules, and yes, they play really fast and loose with the rules here. So
it's definitely in one of the spin-off novelizations. They vaguely touch on that, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It's all explained.
Lightly dozing. I was like daydreaming Freddy. So
okay, so. We talked about Emily here for a little bit. Let's jump to number 2. This is, the great eyeball gag where Joe the plumber, who comes down and he's investigating the leakage, and that hand that comes out of the wall. You got to investigate the leakage. But the hand that pops out of the wall, good jump scare. And really cool effect where it like slowly pries out his eyeball and pops it out. Like, so cool. Fulci loves his eyeball stuff. And
there's more than one in this movie alone. I don't want to be a naysayer. I did like this movie, but I do have more questions. So
bring him on.
This man was melted? And then nobody had anything to say about it.
Yeah. Melting seems to just be like a normal thing in this world.
Further, when Martha discovers him, is like there he is, melted eyeball, the eyes are gone, whatever, and she's just like looking at him. And then when the Peter's body rises, which is way less, she screaming like, wait, did you just not like Joe? Or you?
I didn't. That? So. Yeah, there were no questions, and then he just got sent to the morgue. They did an autopsy, no big deal, I guess. I wonder what the cause of death was. They never, they did the autopsy. What did we find?
He's sewing back up his chest when, hey, doc, I didn't go to medical school, but it's pretty obvious it's because he had his eyeballs pulled out of his head by a strange hand.
Cause of death?
What are you looking for?
I'm really surprised that they're not eating a sandwich, though.
I was looking for that. So, Eric, a few of the episodes we've done in the past, we've noticed that there is a running gag of the mortician with the sandwich, putting it on either on or near the body.
Yeah.
Now I want to know.
Which I love. One. Like, what was it? It was arachnophobia.
Arachnophobia.
What else?
I don't remember. That was the only one.
Damn it.
Friday the 13th Part 4.
I wonder if Quincy Medical Examiner ever had a sandwich. I'm going to go binge watch the entire series on Tubi and see did Quincy. But one more thing, and then he comes up with a ham sandwich.
Just pulls it out. But there was like a weird kind of chemistry between Martha and Joe when they first
I thought they were in on this.
Yeah.
I thought they were like, I thought they were like,
Martha was so suspicious for a second.
We like the gates of hell.
I think they're in on each other is what I was reading.
I think so, yeah.
Oh, by the way, anyone watching it may seem like me in particular, but all of us are making fun of a great classic movie. We're not, but there's things that are just you can't help but laugh at. And one of the ones my brain just does this where they go elaborately call attention to when Joe comes over and when he's talking, or Eliza's talking about the basement and the flooding, and Martha, the first time you see Martha, she goes, I very carefully, elaborately made a path for Joe to walk on so that he doesn't get wet in basically a swimming pool of a creepy basement. And Joe takes about 3 steps on the path and then just plunks into the water and doesn't care. And then you're like, well, maybe that's why Martha doesn't give a shit, because he's just like, fuck you, Martha. And like, screw that. And
that's what happens when you don't stay on the path, Joe.
Exactly, Joe. Don't get out of the boat, Joe. Don't get off the path.
No, Eric brings up a good point, and it's something that we like to remind our audience it's been a while since we've done it, but we do joke a lot on these episodes, but we absolutely love these movies, and we love the filmmakers. We understand firsthand how incredibly difficult it is to make a movie and to write a movie and to put all these pieces together. And it's almost impossible. And it's crazy that movies get made just with all the moving pieces. So this show, if you've listened to us long enough, you understand. But if you're new to the show, we just have fun. We like to poke fun, have a good time. But we do understand the incredible hard work that goes into putting these movies together. So
we're lovers, not critics.
Yeah. So Eric, thank you for bringing that up, because it's been a while since we've mentioned that, and we do like to.
I love that you said that, because I brought it up before, and having been on hundreds of sets over the years, it's so hard just to make anything, just to film it, make it competent, to make it good is even one step beyond. And I think I'm uniquely qualified to laugh at things like that, because if you've watched anything that I've written, I put in so many dumb clunker things, sometimes on purpose, because I remember saying at one point, trying to make something more serious funny, it was like, if we don't laugh at it, the audience is going to. Why don't we laugh together? Let's have fun with this.
Sure,
so,
love that.
So I'm my screenplays are the kings of clunkers. But I do have deep respect for films like this, like you said, and the filmmakers, because it is hard. But come on, you gotta laugh, please.
Yeah.
Well, one time Zach and we shot a short film a few years ago, and we put it in a festival, and I saw it. I got to see it with an audience for the first time because it was right after COVID. And I was like, well, this is fun. And I'm sitting there, and everyone was great. They were very responsive and friendly. But there were a couple moments where they laughed, and like the crowd laughed. And I was like, oh, that's a funny scene, I guess. I'm just going to own it.
That's what happened with The Room and Tommy Wiseau.
Yeah. I've gotten comments like that on my novel, that people are thinking it's a comedy horror. And I'm like, well, I admit it to be humorous, and I put dark humor in it. But I'm like, Jesus, there's some really dark shit in here, and people are laughing. Like, what's wrong with you people? So
sometimes you go so far that you transcend the genre a bit.
Yeah.
And you can't help it. And I honestly always tend to think that's for the best, because it becomes its own thing. Like, you've created it, and then it kind of grows beyond what maybe you intended for the best.
Well, I think even in life, there's like a moment, Danny, kind of like you said, if you go too far, maybe not go too far, but it's so dark that your body just can't because I remember, specifically, and I bring this up just because you reminded me of it, when Heath Ledger died, we were in school together. We were in college together, and I don't remember where somebody told me, or I heard it somewhere, and I laughed because I was like, "What?" It's just
it's so
obviously I didn't know Heath Ledger. It was but that's a whole other conversation about our connection to celebrities, because whatever. But but I remember laughing because I was like, it was just shock. It was
it's
what?
Shocking. Your body, I think that's a defense mechanism. Our bodies are protecting us. So it's it's so insane to to like put that thought together and to accept it as truth, that it's like, no, what?
Yeah.
It's almost like if we don't laugh when something is so dark, we get the beyond experience. Our eyes will go white. Maybe that's what the whole thing is like, this movie is like, if you can't, you know, if it is all just this hellish experience without any sense of hope at the end of witnessing something as horrific as this, what's the point? Like, you may as well just like shut down because you've seen how bad it can be. You have to be able to live within a reality that exists with these other horrors that are kind of paired up with the good, like living with like the dark and the light, the sour and the sweet. You know, you have to be able to exist within that realm.
I think that's kind of the genesis of horror comedy too. That, I mean, there's obvious blatant horror comedies that are meant to be funny, but you know, the comedic relief moment, it's a breather. It's something horrific, and you do that sometimes in writing, but in filmmaking and all that, is you gotta give the audience a break. And there's one movie in particular that another one that I've forgotten the name of, but I don't like to mention because it's from a very celebrated horror filmmaker. But I remember everyone's loving it, and I watched it, and it was so unrelentingly nihilistic from the beginning to the end, and I just like I want to go take a shower. That was not entertaining, and like how are people are loving that movie? Are they really loving that? Like,
I probably loved it.
And some that do that are great. That kind of comes down to characters too. You got to give me one character to like, whether it's the final girl, final guy, final puppy, whatever it is, or some side character that you enjoy.
But then they still have to die.
Yeah. You know, our previous episode before this one was I Saw the Devil, which is that's a movie that gives you
a gut punch.
Well, it gives you no relief. It is just so dark the whole way through. But Danny mentioned something in that episode about the action, and I wonder if like that was kind of
use that instead.
Yeah, instead of like little moments with dialogue, it's the action that kind of just gives us a little relief because it's like a cool action movie until it's like super dark.
Or it's as simple as the scene break to the next morning. You know, that's the trope that the sun comes up and it dissolves the magic, the vampires go away. But also you're like, the nightmare's over. Let's reset until you get a really bad.
That's literally the plot of Ken Russell's Gothic. The entire movie is this nightmare, and then in the last few minutes it's daytime, and they kind of are acting like nothing happened. It's just like, what a morning, like like and you are kind of like, oh, are we not talking about this? I guess we don't want to. Maybe that's for the best.
They're gonna talk about it over brunch. Wow, that was
the weird. Sun will eventually set again.
Okay, so our third reveal in the Beyond is we meet Emily. This is where Liza meets Emily on the like the causeway, the big it's a famous bridge that goes to Louisiana. I've been on it. I don't remember what it's called, but it's really long. And there's a great production still from this movie of Fulci sitting in a director's chair on that bridge, and it's just like, you know, he's framed up just right in the center, like Emily is in the scene, and he's sitting in his chair, and it's really cool.
Oh,
is it the Atchafalaya? The Atchafalaya Basin?
Atchafalaya.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Been on it many times, and I was laughing like you said that like she's driving right down the middle of it. I'm like, that's another one of those, like, it just takes me out of it. I get it, but that's funny. I'm gonna look that picture.
Oh no, Lake Pontchartrain.
Pontchartrain.
Okay.
Yeah.
Spent a lot of time down there.
Okay.
On the last drive-in with Joe Bob Briggs, he was talking about how he's like, he's like, if you've been on it, it's nice, but it's just a long stretch of road. He's like, leave it to someone like Lucio Fulci to make it look as haunting as it looks in the movie. He's like, that is a testament to the kind of filmmaker that he is, that he can. Because I was going to say earlier, we were talking about like, what is it about this movie? I think Fulci, one of my favorite things that he brings to a movie, and why maybe his movies are so memorable, aside from the gore, is the atmosphere. He's so good with like a vibe, you know, he just strikes this perfect balance of kind of like Funhouse, but with I don't know, like it's so, I don't know. I was going to say grounded, but it's so not grounded. like visceral. It's like visceral. It feels like it can hurt you.
It's reality, but 1 degree to the right or left. That
yes.
You're there and you know it's a real place, but suddenly you just look at it slightly different, and it's
the rules don't quite make sense that we're used to. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's 17 miles. I forget now. I've driven across it many times. It's 27 miles, 17 miles. I've never encountered a woman standing in the middle of the road with a dog.
With a dog, yeah.
I'm like, I think I'd maybe just keep going, but she smartly stood in the middle of the road.
What's causing this traffic jam?
and suddenly we're in the Hitcher 7.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's like, I don't know back then if the traffic in and out of Louisiana or New Orleans was a lot lighter, but there's like nobody on that bridge.
Practically, because we do this stuff a lot, and that's one of those things that, like I said, it takes me out of the moment, because all I could think of was, wow, even for 1980, they had to really do a lot to close that. Now we've closed freeways and stuff like that to shoot, which is phenomenal. And I think at one point, I think they even shut down the 405 in LA.
Wow,
if you know that, like, okay, you got a lot of money to do that. So usually they shove you on a side road or something, or a fake road. But like, I was thinking, wow, that's they really pleaded the case, and probably the Louisiana troopers had a blast. Oh, hell yeah, let's shut it down. But in the real world, you're like, hurry up and get the shot, because they're opening this shit up in about 30 seconds.
Tom Cruise running through fucking Times Square.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is like the Vanilla Sky of horror movies. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or there's a great short film, which is probably 20 years old now. I lose track of time, like most people do, but called 405. If you've ever seen it, it's probably all over YouTube. It was a huge thing when it came out. It's basically a guy going to work and the road's empty, and he's like, what the hell? And it turns out there's an emergency jet landing. And they've cleared the road, and the story is that it lands and the wheels hit his car and they're shoving him forward, and so it's actually a really, really well done, fun little
405.
I'm gonna have to look that
405. Yeah, I think that's what it was called.
Okay.
Anyway, back to the Beyond.
Well, yeah. This. Let's jump to our fourth reveal. Mary Ann, who is the wife of Joe the plumber.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God.
This reveal is, we're gonna kind of lump these together. This is Mary Ann and Jill kind of in the morgue, and they're seeing all the corpses and things are going astray. But one of the things I love is that Mary Ann gets her dead husband, fully dressed.
Yeah.
Right.
Why?
Next to this, next to this rotting corpse that she doesn't seem to notice until he's fully dressed.
Yeah.
And then
and
she gets scared.
Don't think that's, that's not how it works. But anyway,
actually, though, I made a note of that. And again, film scholars, please shoot me if I'm wrong in a nice way. But I believe it was Hitchcock, that huge Hitchcock fan. But the type of tension is, if I remember the example correctly, that two characters talking at a diner, having coffee, and there's a bomb. And you show the Hitchcock would show the bomb so that the audience is, oh no, it's ticking. The characters are unaware. Again, I may have the references completely backwards on that, but that's one way of making filmmaking tension. Yeah. And I thought like that was, Fulci did it a couple times in this movie, that she's sewing the thing and it is kind of weird and distracting, but you're waiting for the entire time. Every time you go to the morgue, you're waiting for this zombie corpse to jump up and attack. Yeah. And he doesn't. And it's kind of that little edge of tension, but it is kind of like
because we've seen
my thing is they go to the funeral home, and then the person at the funeral home gets them ready for the funeral and puts their clothes on and all that stuff. The wife doesn't come into the morgue.
But along the same lines, the part that really bothered me is however many scenes later when Joe rises magically out of the filthy tub back in the hotel, he's not wearing the suit that she elaborately put on. He's
that bastard. He took that off.
She went to all the trouble.
That was her look of horror. Was not because she saw his corpse rising, because she couldn't believe all that work was done for nothing.
My God.
Yeah, he was actually having an affair with Martha because he was pissed at his wife because she kept picking out his clothes.
Oh,
So
like, no.
you just, okay, I was going to bring this up, but you just explained it. There's something in when, at least I do this, when you're writing a script, when you're writing a story, is don't give characters similar sounding names. And this one is like, Eliza and Emily and the E's. And my professional, very professional way of doing this is you just go through the alphabet, A, B, C, D.
Yeah.
But another thing is I hate in movies when they cast similar looking actors.
Yeah.
And especially in something like this, like you're even Emily and Eliza to a point. Now, maybe because I may be some version of face blind and I can't necessarily see it. But I remember, I think it's Alien 3 or whichever one on the prison planet. I remember when I first watched this, it's a bunch of shaved headed British people that sound alike. And I can't tell any of the characters apart. Now that I've rewatched it, of course, you can tell the characters apart. But so I noticed this in similarity between Martha and Marianne. They both have the same, M names or whatever, whoever gave it, but they look alike. But now you just made me think of this. It's because Joe was stepping out, and he's stepping out with Martha because she's a better, she's a hotter version of Marianne. So, and poor Marianne, she's doing the corpse thing and has no idea that Joe's cheating on her.
Yep.
To be fair, maybe Joe just assumed that Martha was Marianne because they looked and sounded exactly the same.
I mean, he did lose his eyes.
That's why he looked at her so weird when they get down in the basement. He's like,
"You're not my wife.
What are you doing here?" But to your point about the Hitchcock and the bomb under the table, like they do that fun thing with the brainwave monitor.
Yeah.
And we've seen that this corpse has a brainwave.
Yeah.
And so we know it's there and like something's going to happen.
Yeah.
But Marianne sees it.
That moment.
It's kind of like that weird thing. You're in the morgue in Louisiana in the small town, and you're gonna put the zombie corpse on the brainwave machine. You're like, wait, what movie did I step into? I would like to point out. I know some people hate this other movie, and I'm a big fan of it. It's in it maybe arguably style over substance, but I think there's a lot of substance. But Equilibrium. There is if you remember that with Christian Bale, the king of gun fu, there is one of the best mic drop moments ever with the brainwave, where it's, the whole thing of like you're taking the pill and it's wiping out your emotions, and they think that Christian Bale is part of the team, and then suddenly like boop boop, he's not. He skipped the pill and he's about to bust ass on everybody. It's such a great edited moment.
That's such a fun movie. I've
nothing to do with The Beyond.
Yeah, it's been so long since I've seen that, but knowing that little scene exists, I want to watch it again because I remember having a lot of fun with that movie.
Yeah, and that's one of those great editing moments in a film that like you can hate the rest of it. I don't. I love it, but go ahead and hate it. But that one moment is so perfectly done. Like, boop.
Sure, yeah.
Equilibrium.
But again, back to why do we have
John Wick could run?
Why do we have this brainwave machine? I'm cleaning out my parents' house, and there's some weird kind of oscilloscope thing in there that I found. Like, why do we have it? But now I'm thinking maybe I need to put some pads on my head and see.
You're gonna walk by and you're gonna see it just turn on just for a second.
But Marianne gets freaked by something in this. It's off screen, but we're assuming that it's this corpse that has risen, and Jill comes running in, and Marianne has just like fainted, and somehow maybe she knocked the shelf and the jar of acid, I should say, is just sitting there and tipping, and it pours over, and she doesn't flinch when it starts to melt her face. And again, I just want to point out that we're just having fun with these movies.
And
this scene is so fun.
Don't leave an open jar of acid sitting on a shelf where it can fall off and melt your face. Make sure you put
if you've got acid, cork it, as we always say.
Cork it.
Cork it up, plug it up.
But that leads to a great, I think, a very well filmed and great thing. And you can laugh at Jill and whether, her eyeballs and all that. But, she comes in, sees her mom, and her mom's face is melting off. But the pool of blood that keeps spreading, and you're like, and you hated it, right?
I didn't hate it. No, I loved this movie. But it was very Austin Powers when he's waiting at the edge of the hallway when the car's coming towards him, or the steamroller coming towards the guy in Austin Powers.
Oh, okay.
Instead of, she didn't move out of the way. She just stood there.
And I think what makes it's funny because I really do. I don't know if that was intentional to like be kind of amusing and like Jill, step in, like help, do something. The fact that it is clearly not a real person getting their face melted off.
What?
But it really, you can't. Yeah.
Eric's like,
It's very upsetting to just watch that and to just have to sit with it. He forces you to watch it.
Yeah. But again, it's one of those like very cool effects things. You know, we talked about the 5-minute long spider scene, which is you just sit with it and you get to see the hard work of all this special effects, the special effects artist's hard work just literally melting away. But like, it's so cool that we can just sit there and watch it and kind of live in it for a minute rather than just like, oh, the acid hit her face and we cut away.
But it's also, it's audience manipulation in a way too, because even if you do that, eventually you're going to look back and like, oh, I'm going to wait you out there.
Yeah. And then to your point about like just how different cultures and different countries, maybe the rules of and the DNA of filmmaking and editing is that we maybe are kind of tailored to be like, if I just look away for a second, it'll be gone. And then you look back, oh no, it's still there. And then you keep doing it and it's still there. It's
yeah.
But it is well done as she's backing away and the foaming blood of her mom that's melting corners her in the thing. And then it goes to the weird, she opens the morgue door to escape and then the strange corpses fall out. Like, again, this hospital needs a quality check. What do you don't put the corpses on trays? You just kind of stack them up so that it was probably a practical joke among the morgue staff. Oh, when Billy opens the door, the corpse is going to fall out. So, poor Jill.
I know.
Poor kid.
It's funny. There's active and inactive characters, and Jill is an inactive character, but not to her like fault. She just is. Things are happening to her, and at least the other people are kind of like putting themselves into these situations. She's just kind of like dragged into them. She gets it kind of the worst. Watches her mom die in like the most horrific way. Gets possessed. Gets her head blown off.
They bury her parents, and then they're like, poor Jill is now an orphan. And then everyone just leaves her there.
They just leave,
Well, I got to get to work.
And she's a redhead, so it's like, did somebody hit the little red-haired girl?
Yeah,
like,
she's already got a lot going against her.
Yeah.
Wow, there's, where's her movie later on? She turned into a total serial killer. She's probably
she'll be the main character in the remake for sure.
She's in a lot of therapy.
This is I want to say this is our fucking 4th movie in a row that has had some kind of white substance mixed with blood.
Oh.
And that visual to me is so disgusting.
Strawberry.
And
is it a little bit better as foam though?
Yeah, but it starts out it doesn't foam right away. Right. It starts to this. Right. And I'm like, we need to stop watching movies where this happens, where there's a milky substance and blood. I'm over it. I am over
Poor
it.
Zach. This has been haunting you all summer because we've just been getting them like one after the other.
We did, we started this triple feature with Possession, which is
a
really gross.
That's literally
disgusting
milk.
Fluids.
Yeah. But okay, I digress. Number 5. Oh, this is cool because now we're going back to the painting that Schweik did. This is where Emily touches the painting and her hands start to bleed, and she kind of gets this image or she like senses that Schweik is back and he's here. And so this is
we
our
were
5th
kind of
reveal.
on the fence about whether or not we would include this as an official reveal, but because this is more about like the essence of hell kind of permeating, our
It shows
world.
the power of the painting.
Yeah, exactly. And the painting is Schweik's kind of, exactly. So,
but Eliza,
there is
like after this man is melted in her basement and she doesn't do anything, and then she sees this girl touch a painting and just start bleeding profusely out of her hands, and she's just cool with it.
She's like, damn, this house is crazy.
I think Eliza's a sociopath.
Well, they tell her you have to, it's that classic like haunted house thing of, you probably should just give up on this. And she's like, no, I invested too much into it.
Yeah.
So it's like, I get it. But also, we've had 17 deaths this morning. Maybe consider walking away.
Don't tell anybody. The Google reviews are going to be horrible.
That's right.
TripAdvisor is going to pound this place. Like, shut up.
She's like, let's just lean in. It's a haunted hotel. Maybe we'll get some customers.
Actually, if you're like me, I actually go to places like that on purpose. So.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's like, Casey's been having a lot of excursions at haunted.
A lot of ghost hunting.
Yeah. And it's fun.
But dangerous.
Yeah, it almost feels like, to me, I was watching this, I was like, is room 36 like the only room in this hotel? Like it's the only door they show. And I know it's like, room 36 is where he supposedly died and all this stuff. And anyways,
and every haunted hotel needs, it's like room 237 or room 217. And then what was the room? Oh, 1408. It's like, what's the room at the Dolphin Hotel? Oh, that actually begs I've been wanting to ask this. It's a stupid question. If you had to stay in all but one of these haunted hotels, which one of the three would you avoid?
Well, 1408
this
is
hotel,
probably the worst.
Overlook or Dolphin?
The Dolphin's
so
probably
you would avoid Dolphin.
I would avoid the Dolphin.
So you would stay at the Overlook and you would stay at the Seven Doors Hotel.
Yes.
I would not stay at the Seven Doors Hotel because they just haven't cleaned it out yet.
Yeah, I mean, look at that tub.
My God, look at that tub.
Well, that's not fair. It's not open for business. If it were open for business.
And I've been in some really bad hotels. And no, I want the clean one.
I would do this. I'm the same. I would avoid the Seven Doors Hotel. And I would
1408 is so much more torturous, though.
Well, yeah, but in 1408 but the plumbing works, yeah. But at the Dolphin Hotel, 1408 is the only haunted room. So you could stay
in the fucking basement.
That's a good point. I guess
you could stay in other
Zach
rooms.
Found
I found the loophole.
Yeah. Okay.
If you had to stay in room 1408.
Okay.
Oh boy.
And also in 1408, the plumbing would only work depending on the person.
That's true.
Because all that stuff happens depending on who you are.
Oh,
right?
That's true. Yeah.
So maybe if you've got a huge fear of backed up toiletry, that's what's happening in your hotel room.
You're like, oh God, I hope that's not my one fear at the hotel.
That's my personal hell. Spiders, sharks, no, backed up toilet.
Yeah.
To me, it comes down to like aesthetics because they're all so miserable that I would at least the Dolphin is like cute and the Overlook is charming. This one is just so...
the Overlook is... I love the Overlook. So.
I love it. I would actively stay at the... If it was just like, would you stay or not? Yeah, I would stay.
Yes. Yeah.
And I'd check into the El Royale without hesitation.
There you go.
Totally different movie.
I love it.
That was a cool movie.
Such a good movie.
That's my...
underrated too. My God.
That's my idea for a podcast. How the hell did that get made? Like, yes, somebody made this bizarro movie that's awesome.
Yes, and it's so good. Crazy that more people aren't like, that's not like a favorite movie of so many people.
That's what I wish, I wish here in the States we made more movies like this, like The Beyond, where whether it was supposed to be or not, the style over substance, whether that was intentional or it just got lost somewhere in the editing or the whatever. I wish we got more stuff like this,
Hey, I think because have you seen Terrifier?
Because as much as we're joking about it on this episode, like I love it and it's so cool, and I
absolutely loved it too, and
it's more dreamlike and surrealist than a typical like American movie, and I just wish we got more.
Well, I think there's an argument to be made that we are kind of. I was wondering, I was like, what era are we in? Because we were kind of in. There's the early 2000s was very heavy on remakes. Maybe you could say like the past decade was that they threw around the term elevated horror, whether or not you agree with that being a thing or not. I feel like now we're in this very, it's very balls to the wall type of horror, but also kind of with its foot in mainstream. Like it's not that it's safe, but it's safer. There is some structure narratively, I guess, that kind of keeps things in check. I just saw, I won't spoil anything, but like Weapons comes to mind. Like just tonally, it's just kind of like, wow, I love, this is so strange. Like, what a fun ride. The Monkey was like that. Casey, you mentioned Terrifier in more like the graphic side of things. I feel like audiences are kind of like, and we won't get into it, but maybe, they always say like horror kind of is responding to the state of the world. And there is a little bit of kind of chaos in the world to some extent. And maybe people are kind of gravitating toward like, I need something wilder. I need my head is here. I want to know that I can experience that. And I'll be okay at the end of the day when the credits roll.
Something a little more disconnected from reality, because reality is scary enough. Yeah. Can we go to wild places like that? I no longer want something that can happen to me. I want something that could
exactly.
Maybe that's why Toxic Avenger is the hero we need right now.
100%.
Yeah, he is.
We need you, Toxie.
We need you. That new one was fun. It was good.
I wish I could have seen.
Okay, The Beyond. Yeah, we're talking about The Beyond, you guys. Let's see. Number 6. Liza sees Schweck hanging around in the bathroom.
It's pivotal because it's kind of like it's her turning point, right? She has seen a bunch of crap, but like this is the one that's like
she's finally gone into room 36.
Yeah,
she sees that book on the table.
Was it Imon?
EIBON. However you would say that.
That's a famous fictional book, and they pronounce it Ibon in the movie. I always thought it was Ibon, but it's didn't quite get the sales push that the Necronomicon got, but it's the it's the real deal for if you're in the know. If you want to check that out, I think it's at your library. So yeah,
I just needed a better.
Necronomicon's overrated. Like, come on,
needed a better marketing.
Book
team.
of the Dead, get out of here. We need the Book of Hell.
Ibon's where the real shit's at. So.
Yeah.
Underrated classic.
But yeah, she goes into room 36. She opens the door to the bathroom of the room, and she sees Schweik hanging there, and he's all gross and melty. And I love the use of lightning in this movie, which like a lot of times you'll see the lightning and like it's not storming outside. But
this is inside lightning.
This is inside lightning.
It's a lot of inside
lightning. But again, it's just that style, and it makes it, it gives you that gothic kind of feel where you're like in the haunted house, and it's really cool. I like it.
And there is that idea of like, oh, the door's open. Like whatever happens, like the end, like a bad ending is inevitable at this point. And you start to like, the movie kind of forces that down your throat to be like, it doesn't matter. Like, this is just going to get weirder. It's just going to get darker, and you are not safe. So any hope you had of like selling this place, it doesn't matter anymore. And you're now just here to be fucked with and tortured until inevitably you're like end up in hell.
So it's my biography. Is that?
Yeah. The Eric Miller story.
Everything's becoming clear now. You bring something up we were talking about before. Is this a surreal moment or is it a monster gag? Because they alternatively say that room 36, which comes up so many times, is where Schweiger, whatever his name is, was killed, except that they beat him up there, but they drug him to the basement and killed him there. And then now he's crucified or whatever, nailed to the wall of the bathroom. So this guy's all over the place. So I think that might be. I'm going to say this is one of the surreal moments where he's ghostly and can be anywhere instead of they just forgot where they killed him and murdered him.
I'm with you on that. I agree.
So you know how like Joe, the plumber, ends up in the tub in that room?
Yeah.
Yeah, somehow, yeah.
Schweik was like putting Joe's body in the tub, and he saw the door start to open, and he was like,
nothing to see here. Nothing to see here.
Yeah, that wasn't a scare gag. He was hiding. He was like, if I don't move,
and they won't notice you. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, and then after this, she's like telling John, I don't like John. He's a presumptuous bastard.
Oh, this is his best. This is his best scene too. This is I don't care what you've seen, in spite of all the evidence. Yeah. You're just crazy, lady.
Yeah.
And he's gaslighting her, and then she's talking about Emily, and he goes, I know everybody here. Okay.
There's nobody that lives in
this town. There's nobody named Emily that lives here. Please.
No, I'm with you, because then they also kind of like put him ahead of Liza at the end of the movie as sort of like the quote unquote hero. He's got the gun. Yeah. He's playing like and it's like 2 seconds ago you were like telling her to fuck off, and now she should have the gun. Let her have like the release.
Well, yeah, she'd probably shoot them in the head like you're supposed to, instead of shooting them in the guts 12 times before you fucking Jesus. And then all of a sudden his gun reloaded out of nowhere.
Oh yeah.
How do you get more bullets?
I do have to say that I worked in Louisiana a lot and love it down there, and so many great people. But what you're saying, that's a real thing. I'll give a shout out to my friend Julie Bordelon, who knows everyone and everyone knows her in the region. So it's kind of hilarious. So I kind of bought into that John, he knows everybody, because they literally do. It's like crazy. Like it was four towns over. She knows somebody or they know her. Like, every person. So, but yeah, that's
and he is the doctor in the station wagon. So it's like kind of like a small town kind of thing, like I'm thinking like Arachnophobia with Jeff Daniels, where he's the town doctor.
He's like the Lincoln lawyer,
so he knows better.
Wait, is this a Lincoln Lawyer spinoff?
No, Danny, we're not doing it. we're not going down that road. We're not. You don't want to go down that road.
You don't want to go down that road.
We're not going to go down that road. Instead, we're going to jump to let's jump to our 7th reveal, the really cool spider gag. Yeah, we've talked, we won't spend too much time on it because we have talked about it quite a bit with the spiders and eating his face. And it's just a fun thing. Like, where do the spiders come from? I don't know. Yeah. But they sure do a number on his face.
Why does the guy, he's like, let me lock the door for you so you can have some privacy. It's like,
I'm going to take a 2-hour lunch. Dun, dun, dun. Like,
don't need privacy. I'm just looking at a building code plan.
Yeah. Like, some people get really into those building codes.
He's like, I saw the way you're looking at those books. Let me lock the door for you.
And I wonder if that's based in reality. Like, if architects are really, or engineer, they're looking it up and, oh my God,
that's a good
code
point.
has changed. And they, based in reality.
But like, they do show the book later, and the drawings like disappear, right?
Yeah.
They like fade out, and then the room, it changes to different layouts until it's all gone. Which was kind of cool.
That's kind of a fault of whoever's in charge of the beyond or the hell or whatever. It's like if you're trying to hide the fact that it's the 7 doors to hell, like, oh shit, I left it in the architectural plans. I forgot to erase that. Like, so he's got to kill this guy, and later, there's a whole Mission Impossible scene of the devil breaking in, trying to take the
that's so fun
from the code.
Well, maybe that's what maybe the tarantulas are, like these spawns of Satan, and they go in, they're like the cleanup crew. It's like, oh shit, we forgot about the architect, and he's gonna, of course, want to read the book. Quick, send in the tarantulas. We have to take out the architect, and then by removing him, they can, since no one else knows these plans exist, they can supernaturally remove the text.
That's fun. I like that.
Again, we are just giving this movie spin-offs and prequels and sequels,
and we're going. There's some serious Fulci fan out there that wants us to go to hell right now.
That's right.
Exactly.
To the basement.
God damn it. But I think if Fulci was alive today, he would be grateful that we're giving him all these new ideas.
Another trilogy. Let's do it.
He's like, I'm game. Our 8th reveal, we're not going to spend a whole lot of time on because we have talked about it quite a bit, is when Martha meets Joe in the tub. He comes out of the tub, and
how'd he get there?
Schweik put him there, remember? And then he hid.
Remember, then he was hiding.
Then he hid.
Yeah. I know.
But I can't believe she put her hand in that water.
Yeah.
She did very carefully roll up her sleeve, though. So give her.
Yeah.
And that was the hairball from hell right there. That's a monster in and of itself.
It's so gross.
Yeah.
And we do get the great gag where he puts her on the spike, and it goes through her eye, and the eye comes out, and it's so fun. In our 9th reveal, Emily and her dog Dickie are confronted by the zombies in the living room somewhere in the house. Dickie attacks the zombies, but not before getting bit, I guess. He's got like a wound on his head. Yeah. And then he just eats her.
Again, we're not afforded any relief in these moments where you're like, oh, fine. Because it is satisfying. It's like, yeah, Dickie, go kick those zombies' ass.
Yeah.
But before
Dickie
this scene, that's fair. Yeah. To be honest, that's all I care about.
Well, and I would like to point out whoever trained Dickie is amazing, because what a perfect defense dog that all the monsters and zombies are there, and he literally ignores them until she says attack, and then he instantly goes. Yes. I mean, that is took my Labrador to training,
even though he does
never do anything like that.
Rip her neck out.
Yeah, and I was going to say back to the next level. Just when you think the average ordinary filmmaker would stop, it's like this. There's monsters and the dog's attacking, and the scene's going great, and then spoiler alert, the Dickie attacks Emily, and then rips her throat out. But wait, there's more. Now I get to rip your ear off.
Yeah,
yes.
We'll just add this for a little flavor.
Let's just keep going. It's like, well, I love that because again, it's unrelenting in the best way, and the effects are great. It's unexpected, and it just keeps going. It adds. I don't know of anybody other than Fulci that just keeps doing that. Just keep.
Oh, I love it so much.
That's not enough. Let's also then we'll eat the ear. Like wow. Yeah.
And Emily is not innocent in this, like she does kind of imply, even though she is sort of trying to help, she seems to be helping. She says to them, like, I did what I was asked to do. Like, can't I get this pass? I don't want to go back. So she, in a way, kind of like, it seems like it's established that she kind of sold her soul, for lack of a better term, to the devil, to hell, to get out of hell. But then obviously we're kind of being told the rules of hell. They don't care, like we're going to use you for however we want. And you are going to just do as we say, because there is that scene. I just wanted to establish, or the scene before this is when John finds the book, Ibon, and it says, or maybe it doesn't say it, but the voiceover says, on the day the gates to hell are open, the dead will walk the earth. So we've kind of also established the rules of the movie here that like, that's just where we are now. This is not quite a zombie movie, but it's kind of, it has a foot in like the realm of zombie movies.
Right. Our 10th reveal, our 10th official monster reveal.
We're getting there.
It's kind of a quick one. Liza's in the basement. She's attacked by Arthur, who comes out of the water. Arthur we haven't talked about him yet. He was one of the people that worked in the hotel, and he was, for some reason, Liza had it out for Arthur from the beginning. She was just like mean to him for some reason. I don't know why, but he attacks her in the basement, and it's kind of a quick scene. She kind of fights him off. I can't remember if she kills him. How does she get away?
To be honest, it's funny you asked that because normally I have like extensive notes. I just wrote Liza sees Arthur's corpse.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe it's just like a shrug off and yeah.
And you mentioned it too. That's kind of a sour note that like, he's like, obviously he's portrayed as not being very smart and, Southern guy, whatever stereotype, but Little Miss New York inherits the thing and then treats the guy who talks slow like he's stupid. Like, oh, well, then go to hell. Literally.
Right. Yeah. Literally, yeah.
That's actually her only, that was the only false note for that character for me, is like she's a little condescending and I think, isn't that Martha's son? Is that in the movie, or am I just imagining that or something? I don't remember.
I don't know. I don't know. I thought it was
Marianne's son. No, I'm just kidding.
I think that Arthur is Joe and Martha's illegitimate son that Marianne doesn't know about, and there's a whole backstory going on in here.
Yeah,
the Beyond, for the Beyond 2. The prequel.
Arthur is like the male name for Martha as well. So
there's like a familial like kind of connection there.
And they do, like, when we see Arthur at the beginning, towards the beginning of the movie, he says he's looking for a key, and we've talked about Schweik finding the key to the
Schweiker.
Schweiker?
Oh, it's Schweiker? I thought it was Schweik.
No, it's Schweik.
Is it Schweiker?
Yeah. I wondered why you kept saying Schweik. I thought you were just being silly.
Schweiker.
And I keep saying, I think I keep saying Eliza instead of Liza.
No. But he does say he was looking for a key.
Eric brought up earlier how all the names are too similar. So
and now I can't. I'm flashing back to Airplane with Stryker. Like that's.
All right, Schweik. My bad, guys.
Oh, that's okay. Trust me, of all the movies to like be a little like thrown off with character names and plot, this is the one.
Oh, and I did make the note, by the way. Same one you did, Danny. She runs. That's how she gets away from Arthur. Like,
she runs. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. A very quick. Oh shit! There's Arthur. I'm getting out of here.
Yeah. At this point, she's seen so much. She's like, I am not dealing with this.
So our 11th and 12th monster reveals kind of happen together. We are in the morgue and then the hospital with Liza and John, and the patients are all kind of rising up, and there's zombies everywhere now, and they're trying to get away, and John is shooting them just haphazardly, doesn't really have a plan to where he's shooting them.
That's the problem, is that he shoots some of them in the head and realizes that that's where he should be shooting them, and then continues to shoot them in the guts.
And then he goes back. Yeah, then he goes back. Oh, this works. Then he goes back. That's one of the, you're talking about like the sandwich trope or whatever. Oh my God, that's one of my most hated things in any movie. Like, it's been brought up so many times. But have you never seen a zombie movie at this point? You shoot the effing head. Like,
even if you haven't, it's like, you kind of like put it together. You're like, okay, they're kind of like
brain stops.
Something's
everything.
off. Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't think I'm going to take them out with like a shot to the gut. Like, clearly that's not going to do it.
And I do love the fact, and this is that the doctor just happens to be carrying a revolver. That's just great. It comes out of nowhere. But like you said, the endless reloading. I'm like, okay, I don't have to see everything, but it's like, okay, now we're beyond surrealism. Now, no, it's like, come on, stop it.
He's got his one pocket of syringes, and if those don't work, he's got his gun. It's like, I am going to take care of this patient one way or another.
It's kind of like the patients are like Old Yeller. Well, we got to take Timmy out behind the barn. I'm sorry.
Listen, I'm here to help. How you define help is it's up in the air.
First, do a lot of harm.
Yeah.
It's horrible. Is there a scene in the Ice Cream Man that's similar to this, or am I mistaken?
In terms of like them,
like the White Hospital and like zombie like people walking through it? I feel like there's a scene.
the flashback, right, when he's in the hospital.
Is that what?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
when he's talking about like the hospital that he was in when they treated him, and then
and were there zombie like people in it?
Well, they were patients, but they had been given like some kind of drug
and shit.
Yeah,
all right.
And both kind of have that, because especially with like from what I remember, it's kind of has that kind of dreamy quality to it, like a little outside of reality.
Yeah. Okay, that's all.
And then our 12th reveal that kind of, like I said, blends into this in the middle of this. Jill, Marianne and Joe's daughter, attacks Liza, and they blow her head off, and it's a great effect when her head explodes, just like half of it.
Yeah. That's a great head pop. Like, that was fun.
Yeah.
In a completely fictional way.
Yeah. We love it. We want to see more.
Now that's one of those, because there's so many times that just doesn't work, and it's and especially with, there's some great little great shots in that whole sequence, loading or unloading or not, and a couple that are obviously just wads of bloody tissue on the forehead, but then that's a real effect. Like, wow, that sells the whole scene. And,
so effective.
And again, I'm sorry, Jill, poor Jill.
I know. Poor Jill. R.I.P. Jill. We'll pour one out for Jill, but we'll also celebrate it. Yeah. Oh yeah, she's just an orphan. Like, she has since become expendable, according to this movie, in the characters around in her life. Yeah,
and she doesn't even get a great kill moment. She just kind of does some grabbing, and then
just
boom,
a jump scare.
I was waiting for 20 minutes to rip her throat out, and then I just get shot. Damn it.
I know, it's funny.
She's like, okay, Jill, this is your chance. This is your chance.
She's just a kid, though. She's still honing her skills. In terms of like
the story's narrative and like the way we've been kind of like meeting these characters, they could have done that to John, because he kind of was sort of like, this is Emily's movie. Like, if you're gonna have like that one last like zombie ripping out a person's throat, let it be Jill on John, and just like have that moment, and then Liza could blow, or I guess John could too. Yeah, kind of get, have your cake and eat it too. But
right.
We still love you, the Beyond.
And so they're in the hospital. They go into a door to get away, and they're down in the basement, which is kind of cool, because like they're already in hell, right?
Yeah.
And so
they even kind of mentioned they're driving through the streets, and they're like, there's no one here.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, they got to the hospital and there was nobody at the hospital.
Yeah. So this is kind of just like, it's all, the rules are out the window at this point, and they go down into the basement, and they're like, what the fuck? What are we doing down here? And they actually enter through the gate. And in our 13th and final reveal, Liza and Dr. John are in hell, which is this painting that Schweik was doing. It's like all the like what's the word? I'm not petrified? Not putrefied. What's the word?
Putrefied?
Petrified works. Like, they're all kind of
just frozen. Are they hard or are they soft?
Are they melting or?
Petrified would be hard. Putrefied would be soft.
The first one, hard. They're all like
petrified.
Yeah.
Well, it's just the hellish landscape of nothingness, and there are bodies laying around, but it's instead of being, and I like that they went in a different direction instead of, the cheap, there's flames or there's Pinhead and Hellraiser. No, it's just this big nothingness, emptiness of the soulless vacuum.
And it's like windy and
I used to be very religious, and I was told that hell was just a big empty nothing.
It's that's actually, it's the absence of grace, and that's actually the real interpretation. Somehow all the flames and demons crept in over the years. Thank you, Dante, and so many great, medieval artists who make it a lot more cool. But it's that absence of anything. And also the scene before they get down there, that's actually a great trick, very, very good editing, reminiscent of Silence of the Lambs, that great editing sequence where she's knocking on the door and you think she's at the house to save what's your name in the basement. You're in a different place. But so two things. So when they're in the hospital and they run the door to escape the zombies, and suddenly they're in the basement of the house and like, oh, you're screwed. That's a great moment. But it's also, this is kind of the first time that our friend Stryker is actually an active villain. He goes all the way to the end where, yes, he's been creeping around and looming and doing all kinds of nerdy things, but he's suddenly there and he's kind of the mastermind, which again doesn't make a lot of sense since he was kind of the guy that was protecting people from hell. But he's gone to the other side. He took he went to the dark side, but he's actually doing something.
They fucking murdered him.
Yeah, and he's hurting them.
Fuck you guys.
He's no longer just passively laying there on the gurney being creepy. He's actively hurting them down into hell. So there's a lot of good stuff going on, and in some ways this ending is kind of some people would say that, well, that just kind of ended with a whimper. No, it really didn't. It tied everything together in a great, again, that existential way. Not as good as that What the F at the end of Cemetery Man, but still a totally different film. And you're like, we're in existential hell, and how else would you end it? I mean,
yeah, exactly. Right. It's sort of like the setups and payoffs. Chekhov's, the painting is like the Chekhov's gun of this movie. It's like, if you're gonna have this painting, like, it's got to pay off somehow, and we're not quite sure we're going to be kind of in the painting by the end of the movie. So we've transcended reality,
and there is the more modern ending where they're being chased, and she Eliza turns around and shoves the doctor into Stryker's arms. It's like basically take him, and runs away. Like, stop gaslighting me.
Hell yeah.
And she gets away.
I told you it was real.
Told you it was real, asshole. Thanks for doubting me. Now you're going to hell, and I'm gonna go get beignets.
Hell yeah.
I don't know how much truth there is to it. I'm assuming it's true because I'm going to refer back to Joe Bob Briggs again. He had mentioned that there was an original idea for the ending of what hell was supposed to look like, and they were going to use an abandoned amusement park ride, or abandoned amusement park, and that you would see these dead people like riding the rides forever, and they just couldn't make it work. So they're like, well, let's go the opposite way, which I think works because, you think of like Dante's Inferno, obviously that's referring to hell. This might be a stretch, but like the Italian word for winter is inverno, which I always kind of drew this like connection between Inverno and Inferno. So like hell not being this fiery hellscape, but actually this world of desolation and emptiness, and winter being like the death of nature temporarily.
Right.
So I actually think it does, Eric, to your point, like I feel like it's more effective.
Yeah, I think that was, from what I read, either the location wasn't available, it didn't work, but that's very real. And to me, that would be one of the circles of hell, is standing in line at an amusement park for the attraction, and you've been there for an eternity, and like, and the sign comes up 20 minutes more, and you're like, oh Jesus God! But wait, it said 5 minutes before, and you're going backwards. So
but okay, we end on this this great visual of Dr. John and Liza with the eyes. They've been given their eyes for their eternity in hell, and
cool eyes.
Very cool ending. Very cool movie. That's the Beyond. Lucio Fulci, part of the Gates to Hell quote unquote trilogy.
all fun aside, it's I think Fulci's my favorite of all the Italian directors, and one of my favorite horror directors, and he does manage to mix. Yes, there's the surrealism and the visuals mixed with the insane amounts of gore, but there does seem to be in his films a little bit more of a story and characters and things, and all those weird cultural translations aside, they work and they seem very realistic, but like we said, 1 degree off, and so I've always enjoyed them a lot, and this has been a good excuse to rewatch a bunch of them too. And it's like, and then I think that they've influenced so many filmmakers through the years. And even though we were having to, I don't remember seeing this in the theater. I doubt if the small town I lived in showed this. It was showing some garbage rom-com or something from a studio, but I'm absolutely on VHS and discovering it, and now on streaming. So it's great that people get to see this. And I think I was on Tubi or whatever the other night. I think there's a whole run. There's 6 or 8 of his films on there. So
that's awesome.
Oh yeah. Tubi's the shit.
And I do have to say too, I'm not being compensated this for in any way, but if you're ever in New Orleans, Louisiana, the heart of the Beyond, and you want to go into a basement and lose track of time, go to the Dungeon, one of the greatest bars ever, which is actually underground and great heavy metal. It's one of those places where suddenly you go in and it's days or weeks later, and you're like, where am I? The sun's
that's neat.
The Dungeon?
The Dungeon, yes. I'm sure it's got to still be there.
Yeah. Very cool. All right. Well, now it's time to pick our favorite reveals in the Beyond. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to do a speed round recap of just our 13 monster reveals for this movie, and then we're going to pick our favorites. Number 1, we've got Emily's white eyes that scare the painter off the scaffolding. Number 2, we've got the hand that pops out and pulls out Joe's eyeball and melts his face. Number 3, Emily on the causeway on the big bridge into Louisiana. We've got number 4 is Marianne and Jill in the morgue with the corpses. 5 is Emily touching the painting and her hands start to bleed. 6, Liza and Schweck are hanging out in the bathroom. 7, the spiders. 8 is Martha. 8 is
the love
I told you.
Arthur and Martha's. Martha.
Number 8 is Martha meets Joe in the bathtub. 10 is Lil Dicky eats Emily's face.
Lil Dicky.
Zach's cracking himself up. Right.
10, we get Arthur in the basement who attacks Liza. 11 is the patients / zombies in the hospital. 12 is Jill attacking Liza, and 13 is Liza and Dr. John in hell for eternity. Danny, since this was your movie for our International Eeks Triple Feature, let's start with you. What is your favorite reveal in the Beyond?
This is tough. Usually I'm very organized with these, and I'll have an answer and kind of a reason. This one I'm still on the fence. So I'm just, like I keep saying when I go with my gut, but then my gut turns, and then I have another option. I think I'm between, I want to go with something profound like the ending, which is, I think all of these are great picks.
Yeah.
But then I find myself between what is my mind going toward, kind of just subconsciously or unconsciously, and it's Martha with the bathtub, because you have that great eye gag, and then you have the architect scene with the tarantulas, because it's just so crazy. And just messes with it, breaks your brain a little bit, but it's also really effective. I'm gonna go just for all right, what grossed me out more, even though that's nothing to do with what the best reveal is. I'm just gonna use that as my metric, and I'm gonna go with Martha getting her eyeball pierced by Joe the plumber.
Her eyeball pierced, yeah.
That's a new person.
Yeah.
I got my eyeball piercing at Claire's.
It's just it's just so memorable. It's gross without, we always talk on the show, we kind of all fit on a spectrum. Casey is far on the dark end of the spectrum. You love your gore and your just
dark endings.
Yeah. Zach, you're a little bit more in the middle. I'm the softie technically. But there's a thing about this movie of why I love it so much despite it being so grotesque. And I think it's because it finds that nice balance of it's not quite as realistic looking as a movie like Terrifier, where you are watching these gory scenes happen and it is like, oh my God, I feel like I'm witnessing this happening for real. This is just enough, and maybe it is just like the era that it was made in. The effects are just enough like outside of reality that I can have fun with it.
Sure.
So for that reason, for the memorability factor, just for the look of everything and that the iconic memorability of that moment of the eyeball, I'm gonna choose this one.
Okay. Yeah. No, it's a great pick. Eric, what is your favorite reveal in The Beyond?
I gotta go with the 800-mile bridge over the lake, just because it's so visually amazing, and all driving down the middle of the road aside, and all the technical stuff to achieve it, it's so different than the rest of the movie. It's not in the basement. It's not the hospital. It's not that. It's not the hotel. Anything. You're suddenly in this big, giant, weird environment, which, when you're out there for real, but also the way they filmed it, it would look like kind of an overcast day. You're kind of in the void, like at the end and beyond. That you're in nowhere. And the reality is, who doesn't want to be driving down an endless bridge and see a hot chick with a cool dog who turns out to maybe be a ghost that's dragging you to hell? I mean, that's like, yes. So,
every boy's dream.
But for all the legit filming reasons, it's just a great kind of, it's a break. It's a visual break in the film. It's so visual and different, and just like, hey, we're here. Let's use something. Let's don't just go there to say we shot at New Orleans or get a rebate or whatever. It's like, let's use something that's there, that's part of it and real. I think that's why. And and the dog.
And the dog.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Casey, I am going to bring up Detroit Rock City for a minute, and because we love to talk about this movie. We've been trying to get Danny to watch this. He refuses to watch it for some reason.
Well, now it's like a principal thing. Now I can't watch it because the bit must go on.
So
Zach and I love it.
They see the girl walking down the highway, and they're like, There's a girl walking down the side of the highway. They make scary movies that start out like that." And then the other guy goes, Yeah, but they make porno movies that start out like that too, man. Oh man, I love that movie so much.
Your belt buckle may say rock and roll, but your breast says pepperoni, baby. Yeah. That's what she says when she gets in the car.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Casey, what's your favorite reveal in The Beyond?
So my favorite reveal is the spider one, because I like them spiders, and for several reasons. So I like spiders and I like tarantulas, and I think they're super cute. And it was also really gross. Yeah. And I watched it with my partner, and he could not watch that scene, and so it made me like it even more.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Griff has a really hard time, and he winces at like everything and at everything, but like fun. He shut his eyes during this spider scene, and it was so
that's fun.
Well, that's to that point, it's if there's a movie that you don't fully enjoy, really like watching by yourself, and this isn't the same. This isn't the same scenario that you had, but it brought this idea up in my head. Like, if there's a movie when you might not like it so much on your own, but if you watch it with a group of people. And there's like a group thing going on where it's like some people are wincing, some people are laughing. It can make you like a movie more than you would just on your own, just being in that environment, it's
like you're in on a secret and the secret is coming and they're about to be revealed to the secret. And you're like, okay, there's a new flavor to this movie that I'm really embracing.
No, the spider scene is great. And I'm picking one that comes to mind when I think about this movie. When someone says The Beyond, this is the thing that pops in my head, and it's the final scene with John and Liza in hell in the painting with their eyeballs are white, and I'm going to go with that. Just purely for visuals. It's just a great scene.
Can I give an honorable mention to someone that we haven't brought up at all? Which totally. One of the reels is the guy that runs the bookstore.
Oh,
okay, yeah.
What the heck?
I liked the one really long hair coming out of the tip of his nose.
I didn't notice.
I wanted to pluck it.
Yeah, like what? I mean, part of me, most of me wants to go to that bookstore.
Oh yeah,
I hope he's still working there.
Yeah, exactly. He's probably still.
I literally
is.
rewound that scene because I'm like, wait, what's happening? I don't think because it like throws you out the book. Ends up not being the book, and then he's kind of like seems like he's in on this bit, but
yeah,
I'm like, wait, what?
What? No wonder that store closed down. That guy was weird.
He scared everybody out of there.
Yeah,
honorable mention definitely goes to the bookstore owner. That's great.
All right, well, now it's time for a segment that we like to call the real monster. Danny, again, we'll go in the same order. Sure. This was your pick. What was your real monster for The Beyond?
I have a few.
Okay.
I have people who say it'll take as long as it takes. When she asks Joe the plumber, it's like, okay, that's fair. Sometimes that happens, but an estimate, like give me some like ballpark. Like,
it was so funny because in my notes I wrote down, I was like, fuck yeah, I'm so glad he answered her like that. Because she was like, how long is it going to take? And he's like, he's looking at this flooded basement and he's like, I don't know. It's going to take as long as it takes. And I was like, yes. And that's your real monster. That's so funny.
Or if it's like some contractors, he'll leave and not come back for months at a time. Like, like exactly. He'll never finish the job. Like what?
I'm skipping a couple because we've kind of talked about it and we've rationalized them. I will say Emily for making Dickie fight the zombies and putting him in harm's way.
Okay.
I would never do that with my dog.
That is his purpose, though.
Yeah, but if my dog was there, I would shelter him first.
You definitely have a different kind of dog than Dickie.
Yeah, that's fair. I have a like beagle basset.
And you're also not blind.
And hey, points to Emily for fully committing to the gag that she's a ghost and not really there and probably not blind, but she's even got the seeing eye dog handle. Like that's full commitment. You don't really have to. You're not really there. You're not really blind. Like, wow.
I also have John for giving Liza shit about not believing her. There's that scene where, and this is after the scene where he finds the book, he draws the parallel between the symbols in the book and on Schweig's body, and then accuses her of leaving the book for him to read. He's like jumping through hoops to kind of make her feel stupid about these things that she's bringing up. That it's like, there's no way she's just making this stuff up. Also, why would she make it up? And then a scene later, he sees the proof. Just a dick move, John. Like, don't do that.
Don't be John.
I don't know. He goes, don't be. He just goes so far where he's like, there's that scene where he's like, listen, I'm a practical man. I want a practical answer. He's like, I want to call the FBI. I want to call the, like, John, you may be practical, but you're being very unreasonable right now.
Yeah. So who did you think clawed Joe the plumber's eyes out in the basement? Like, did that just happen because of a plumbing accident? Come on, John, wake up.
Exactly. And then finally, I have one we talked about. It's just people who waste bullets in a zombie movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, how have you not learned? That's it. That's all I have. We've said enough.
Eric, do you have any real monsters for The Beyond?
I think the real monster is the book. It's been overdone, done in so many great ways, like in Evil Dead with their version of the Necronomicon and all that. And again, the Ibon, I'm forgetting my literature. I think that came from Clark Ashton Smith or one of the great early horror writers. I'm not exactly sure where it came from, but using that, putting it up front and making it this repertoire of knowledge that is ghostly. It's there, it's not there, the pages disappear, and that somehow reading this, it opens the doors. There's a knowledge. So because I'm a book guy, I love books, and there's just something about that. So that to me is that's the real monster in there, and John being a typical male in so many ways. That's just like the gaslighting thing was like, really, dude, come on. But I would like to say you made me think of it. It's not in this movie, but I'm surprised he didn't do it because it's another one of those tropes that not just shooting the zombies in the leg or whatever, and especially after you've learned 16 times that shooting in the head kills them, then the gun's empty, you throw the gun.
Yeah.
The bullets didn't work, so now I'm gonna throw the gun. Yeah. I'm like, oh, could you just murder him right now? Like, please, all those characters. But the book, for me, it is the book of Iban, however you want to pronounce it, and because it's just so many great examples of that, from Lovecraft to Evil Dead to all the great,
that's great.
Things that it's all about books. Real evil. Yeah. So read more books, kids. All the true evil is in there, just waiting for you to discover.
I love that. That should be on a T-shirt. I love that. Yeah. Casey, what do you got?
So I do have John. I hated him for many reasons that we've already talked about. And I feel like if he were the main character, more of the main character, I feel like if he had more time in this movie, I would hate him just as much as I hate Larry Talbot.
I was literally going to say, is this your new Larry Talbot?
Not quite, but I do hate him almost as much as I hate Larry Talbot.
That's so funny.
Yeah, because they can just go be pieces of shit together. And then also, Martha for putting her hands in that fucking bathtub.
I did have that. I actually skipped over that one too.
No, it's so disgusting. I don't even wash dishes without gloves on because I don't like touching food. So I'm not like, who would do that?
Yeah.
That's the most repulsive thing ever.
In a bathtub.
If she didn't die, her hands probably would stink for weeks. Like,
ew.
It's like the bog of eternal stench from Labyrinth.
Yeah.
It's the bathtub of eternal stench.
Yeah, just put something down there to wiggle the drain or something before you stick your hand in there. I feel like she has
the tools.
Yeah.
I mean, Joe the plumber was in the bathtub. Why didn't he fix it?
You were right there, Joe.
Come on,
have
dude.
Literally one job.
No, those are good. Yeah, I've got John I wrote wasting bullets on bellies because even after he figures out that they go in the head, he still shoots them in the belly. So anyways.
All right, universally, fuck John.
Fuck John. I've got not so much just the bathwater, which was disgusting in itself. But I think Eric mentioned this earlier, the wad of hair that she pulls out.
So gross.
So drain hair is a real monster.
She even has a moment with it of ugh. No, just immediately drop it.
What's the Princess Bride, the hairball of enormous size?
Oh, yeah. And then my last real monster is inflation. At the beginning,
what did we see the cost of?
We didn't see, at the beginning, the guy, when we first introduced her in the hotel in present time, and the guy who gets his face eaten by spiders. I don't know what role he plays in the movie. But he's there talking to her, and he says that inflation is almost at double-digit inflation. And I was like, holy shit. Okay. So inflation is my real monster for
nothing else scary anymore.
Not great.
He's the architect or the building contractor or whatever.
Okay. So now it's time for our last segment. Would you survive? Lucio Fulci's The Beyond. I don't think so, because the gates are already open, right? I mean, I guess if you gave up the hotel and left, you could survive.
I think that this movie was, I think, a little bit too, I don't want to say convoluted, but it wasn't there weren't enough specifics in there for me to know, how these people are.
The rules,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure.
Okay.
It depends.
Okay, just depends. Yeah. Okay. Danny, Eric, do you have any thoughts on if you would survive this, or are we all pretty much fucked?
I think we're screwed unless we stay at the Holiday Inn Express instead, and then we're not only well rested and ready to deal with the minions of hell, but we're just simply not there. Now, that's also the thing, that it's kind of that overarching statement that we're all doomed. We born, we die. There's nothing you're going to do to get out of this.
Yeah.
It's a real uplifting ending, but that's
Yeah, it's funny. This movie kind of it gave me a vibe. We just watched recently the movie Uzumaki, and there is that idea of death being, a lot of people kind of frame death as it's an inevitability, we're going to die. But in these movies, it's like an assault on your life, it's not a good thing to die, even though it's inevitable. So death in itself is as scary as we may think of the unknown, which makes it so horrifying because you literally can't escape it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a quote. I don't know if this was Fulci, but I know it was something to do with surrounding the Fulci. And the quote was, "We're born for one reason, to die." And that was kind of the idea going into the movie. And it's like you can look at death and life and all that as something pure, but this movie is not doing, nor did Uzumaki do that. As for whether or not I would survive, normally I would say no, but I did stay at the Seven Doors Hotel, and all I got was the stupid survivor buff. So I did make it out, and I have the proof. And that's why I wore my survivor buff today, because I did make it out alive.
Danny, you are a survivor. You are a survivor.
Wait, has that movie been made yet? It has to.
Survivor meets The Beyond.
Yeah.
Yeah, why doesn't Survivor, like, you're a big fan of it. I don't know much about it, but it's been going for like 50 seasons or something?
Yeah, we're literally on season 49 just started.
Wow. Like, why don't they need to do like a Halloween fucking version. Supernatural themed season where it's like you're surviving?
Well, every now and then they don't do themes anymore, but they do kind of like aesthetic themes in the production design. And sometimes they kind of dip their toes into something a little creepy. Like this season is like shipwrecks. And so if you get this it almost looks like a horror movie set if you watch like when they're in tribal council. But yeah, going all in like a Halloween special. Oh, please.
I used to watch it a lot and really enjoyed it. But along with Monster Rules or whatever, if you're going to survive something like this, first off, shoot the zombies in the head. And second off, check the fuel gauge on the taxi before you get in it and take off.
Yeah, totally.
Or if you can't drive a clutch, you're done. So learn how to drive a clutch before you go on Survivor, and then you'll live through the zombie hell, or have a better chance of surviving hell.
Guys, we're pitching so many good ideas. That's a new show, like Survivor meets a horror movie. Like really, like put yourself like, what was the show on MTV? Fear, where they have the cameras.
Fear.
Oh yeah,
kind of like yeah. So Survivor meets Fear. There's something there. We'll figure it out.
All right. Well, you guys, that's The Beyond. That is our. Not only is that The Beyond, that is our International Eeks Triple Feature. It's over. It's time to start a new Triple Feature.
We're back in the States.
We're back in the States. This was a pretty heavy triple feature.
Yeah.
Like it was dark. It was gross. It was just heavy. So our next one coming up is going to be a little bit lighter. Do we have a name for it? I don't remember if
we do. This is my triple feature pick. It's called In the Club We All Monsters.
Oh, that's right.
In the Club We All Monsters.
Which is, of course, taking from a quote that I've just heard and I don't know what it is, where it's in the club
is Alana
we
Glazer.
all fam.
Yeah.
Oh,
is it?
Glazer.
In the club we all
in Broad
fam.
City.
Yeah.
So since this triple feature is all about like a club mentality, like a group idea of like characters in a group, somehow my brain took In the Club to I somehow
it's good.
I just wanted to make it make sense.
It's fine.
It's
no justification needed, Danny.
Laugh.
It's good.
Thank you.
But we're going to kick off this next 3 episodes with Dream Warriors. Nightmare on Elm Street 3.
So
Dream
excited.
Warriors. We've covered Freddy Krueger early on in the show, back on like episode
years ago
4. And now in episode 142, we're going to be doing Dream Warriors specifically. So that'll be fun.
Can't wait.
Casey, what are we following that up with?
Oh, The Frighteners.
The Frighteners.
Can't wait.
I almost said Percy Jackson. Peter Jackson.
Nope. It is not Percy Jackson.
Peter
Jackson. Yeah. So I loved this movie when I was a kid, and I had a huge crush on Michael J. Fox.
Oh yeah.
And I haven't seen it since then.
Okay. Yeah.
So
I haven't seen it since
It holds up. It's a great movie.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. And then Danny, what are we rounding out that triple feature with?
Well, it wouldn't be a Monster Club without the Monster Squad. So we are going to be wrapping it up with the Monster Squad. Fred Decker's. Great. Probably I think that's my gateway. That's like the first real horror movie I saw as a kid.
Oh, really?
I owe a lot to
Interesting.
That
Yeah. Don't we do our Halloween episode first?
Yeah. So before this triple feature kicks off, we are ranking all of the monsters we met over this past year. And if you know anything about How I Met Your Monster, we don't have a traditional New Year. We have a Freak Skull year.
Yeah.
Is that what you called it, Danny? A freak skull year?
Yeah, we were talking about fiscal, and we couldn't call it fiscal. We needed the horror version, so we said freak skull. So now if it's a deep dive, but we call it, this is our freak skull year. So instead of ending the year on December 31st, we end the year on Halloween on October 31st.
So we are going to rank all of our monsters we've met since last Halloween. It's a fun bonus episode.
These are my favorite. They're so fun.
Yeah. If you haven't listened to our last ranking or even the previous one, they just get better with each year. I think we have
a new system this year too, by the way. We keep refining it. And this is chef's kiss.
This will be fun. So maybe. I'm excited for that. But yeah, Eric, thank you so much for joining us for this conversation. This was a lot of fun.
Love being here. Appreciate it. And also, all joking aside, if people haven't seen the movie, it's nice to introduce people to films they may never have seen and highly influential filmmakers. Like Lucio Fulci. You can't speak enough.
A lot of our listeners are people who have kind of just started getting into horror. Mm-hmm. So a lot of them use the show to decide what to watch.
No, that's great. And because there's so many great films that I still pull some obscure ones out that people are like, well, I've never even heard of that, never seen that. Yep. It's great. And it's fun to introduce it and
oftentimes they end up being the best because, and maybe it has something to do with the unexpectedness of it. Like, oh, this exists. Like, what? This is so fun. That was my experience with The Beyond. I was like, I had actually seen it for the first time this year. And I was like floored. I was so excited. I was like, I cannot wait until we can get an excuse to get this movie on the show. And then Zach chose international horror movies. And I was like, boom, let's go. Yeah. Kind of cheating the system. We're in New Orleans. But Casey did. I'm sorry.
But yeah, this was so fun. Eric, where can our listeners find your book? Is it out yet? Or has it been released yet?
I've got a copy in my bedroom. Yes, it's been released. It's on Amazon, all the usual places. The novel is Whatever Happened to Uncle Ed, which is, again, interesting and fun, and a lot of people are loving it. I've got anthologies out that I did previously that I edited, from Hell Comes to Hollywood 2, the imaginatively titled sequel, and also big hit 18 Wheels of Horror, Trucking World Horror, and 18 Wheels of Science Fiction. So those are all on Amazon. The anthologies are on Audible, Nook, Kobo, all the usual places. And you can find out more at bigtimebooks.com. That's my little small press website.
Awesome. Yeah. So, and we'll put links to places where you can get your books. We'll put that in the show notes of this episode so our listeners can easily find them. Great. And if they want to follow you on social media, where can they find you?
I usually do Instagram. I'm not a huge social media person. I've recently got back on Facebook for various reasons, but at Raging Eric, that's my personal, and also there's Big Time Books on there. I'm not super active on those, but you can find my stupid posts on Raging Eric, and I think I'm the same thing on Facebook. So look for the one with a whole lot of horror friends on there and stuff. So I always try to make posts fun and different and weird and all that, instead of just, here's what I had for breakfast.
Yeah.
Although actually there's a lot of those, because those are fun and weird too, because it's a whole other story.
Interesting.
Casey, what about you? Where can our listeners find you on social media?
I am on Instagram at WolfMotherCasey.
Danny?
You can find me on Instagram, Blue Sky, and Letterboxd at my name, Danny Salem. That's DANNYSALEMME. That's 2 M's, like the candy. Melt in your butt, not in your hands.
I love it. And
Eric makes me do this when we have guests.
Eric seems like a cool dude, and I knew he was going to love it too. So I just let it happen.
I said it once, and now I have to say it every time.
And now it's been 140 times.
Yeah. And you can find me on social media at Zach Winsick. Make sure to follow How I Met Your Monster on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, wherever you find your podcasts. We're there. Make sure to join us for our bonus episode where we will be ranking all of our past year's monsters. And then we'll go into our, let's say it again, Danny. In the club, we all monsters. We all monsters, yeah. Whatever the name of that is, make sure to join us for that. Thank you all for listening. Now go meet some monsters.